A man walked into a job interview with zero qualifications and walked out with a $180,000 salary. The only thing he used was one book, written in 1936, and the company that hired him, they never even checked his resume. The book is called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It was published in 1936, and as of today, it has sold over 30 million copies, making it one of the best selling books in human history. Not a fiction novel, not a thriller, a book about people. So, why is it that most people have heard of this book, but almost nobody actually applies what's inside it? Today, I'm going to break down the most powerful secrets from this book, the ones that can literally change how every single person in your life treats you. And I want you to stay until the end because principle number 4 is the one that nobody talks about, and it is the most dangerous one. Segment 2, Principle 1, Never Criticize. Here is the first and most important rule Carnegie ever wrote: don't criticize, don't condemn, don't complain. Now I know what you're thinking. That sounds too simple. But let me show you what's actually happening in your brain when someone criticizes you. Research from Harvard shows that criticism activates the same neural pathways as physical pain. Your brain literally cannot tell the difference between someone insulting you and someone hitting you. So when you criticize someone, even if you're right, their brain shuts down. They stop listening, they get defensive, and they remember you as a threat. Carnegie had a mentor named Abraham Lincoln, and Lincoln learned this lesson the hard way. Early in his life, Lincoln wrote public letters mocking a political opponent. The opponent was so humiliated, he challenged Lincoln to a duel. Lincoln almost died because he couldn't stop himself from criticizing someone. He never criticized another person publicly again. Think about the last time you criticized someone in your life. Did they change or did they just build a wall? Segment 3, Principle 2, the name power. Here is one of the simplest but most powerful tools in this entire book. Use a person's name constantly. Carnegie says, a person's name is to them the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Jim Farrell was the chairman of Bethlehem Steel. He was known as one of the greatest relationship builders in American business history. And when people asked him his secret, he said he could barely remember a single grammar rule. But he never forgot a name. Neuroscience confirms this. Hearing your own name activates a unique part of the brain, different from hearing any other word. It triggers identity. It says, this person sees me. Next time you're in a conversation, use the person's name 3 times. Watch how the energy of the conversation shifts. Watch how much more they open up. The most successful salespeople in the world, they're not using better pitches. They're using your name. Segment 4, Principle 3, the silence rule. Now, here is something most people will never believe. The secret to being the most interesting person in any room is to stop talking. Carnegie found that people don't want someone interesting. They want someone who is interested in them. He describes a dinner party where he spent the entire evening asking one woman questions about herself. He barely said a single thing about his own life. At the end of the night, she told the host, she said, that Mr. Carnegie is the most fascinating conversationalist I have ever met. He had said almost nothing. What if I told you that the less you talk, the more powerful you become in any conversation? Be genuinely curious. Ask follow-up questions. Let people finish their sentences and watch them fall in love with talking to you. Segment 5. Principle 4, the hidden one. Remember, I told you Principle 4 is the dangerous one. Here it is. Give honest and sincere appreciation, not flattery. Appreciation. There is a difference. Flattery is hollow. People feel it. Appreciation is specific, real. It changes how a person sees themselves. Carnegie says there is one deep craving in every human being, deeper than hunger, deeper than the desire for money. It is the desire to feel important. Studies show employees who feel genuinely appreciated perform 31% better, not employees who are paid more, employees who feel seen. Charles Schwab, the first man in history to earn $1 million salary, was asked what was his greatest skill. He didn't say leadership, he didn't say intelligence. He said, "My ability to arouse enthusiasm in people by giving sincere appreciation." Look at the people in your life right now, your team, your family, your customers. When was the last time you made them feel genuinely important, not to get something, but because you actually saw them? Segment 6, Principle 5, Never win an argument. This one is going to hurt a little. You can never win an argument, even if you destroy the other person with logic, even if you prove every point. Even if they walk away with nothing to say, you still lost, because now they resent you. Their pride is wounded, and wounded pride is one of the most dangerous forces on the planet. When was the last time you won an argument and the other person genuinely changed their mind? Carnegie's rule: if you argue and win, you lose the person. If you don't argue, you keep them. And keeping people is worth more than being right. Benjamin Franklin said, "If you argue and contradict, you may achieve a temporary victory, but it will be an empty victory. You will never get your opponent's goodwill. Choose the relationship over the victory every single time." Segment 7, Principle 6, Smile. I know what you're thinking. Smile. That's the advice. But listen to this carefully. Carnegie says, the expression on your face is more important than the clothes you wear. Psychologists found that when a person smiles, even if they force it, their brain begins to generate feelings of happiness. A fake smile slowly becomes a real one, and the people around them feel it instantly. A smile says, I am glad to see you. I am safe. I am present. William James, one of the greatest psychologists in American history, said, action seems to follow feeling, but really action and feeling go together. By regulating action, which is under the more direct control of the will, we can regulate feeling. Pause. Act the way you want to feel, and you will eventually feel it. Smile, and the world opens doors you didn't even know existed. Closing CTA. Dale Carnegie wrote these principles in 1936. Almost 90 years later, every single one of them still works because human nature hasn't changed. People still want to feel heard. They still want to feel important. They still respond to warmth. And they still build walls the moment they feel criticized or dismissed. The most successful people in the world, the ones who build empires, lead movements, and change lives, they are not the smartest. They are not the strongest. They are the ones who understood people. So here's my question to you before you close this video. Which of these 6 principles will you use today, and who are you going to use it with? Leave it in the comments, because the people who comment are not just watchers, they are builders, and builders are the ones who change their life. If this gave you something, then share it with one person who needs to hear it, and follow, because the next video breaks down the book that Warren Buffett called the most important he ever read. I'll see you there.